Karin skacel here on behalf of Makers Mercantile. Today is January 21st. It's a Friday in 2022, and I'm going to go over with you what is in today's newsletter. So, item number one, our yarn for this newsletter is called Gradient. Let's see if we can find here. This one's got a good label on it. Gradient. There you go. So, it is made by 𝗫𝗄𝗃𝗁. And 𝗫𝗄𝗃𝗁 is a company based out of Germany. It is owned and run by Gerhard 𝗫𝗃𝗁, and he, of all things, is a knitter. So this is one of the very few companies that actually manufactures yarn where the CEO is an actual knitter, and he is. So he puts a lot of effort into his yarns. The other thing that he is really, really great at is color. And we know this because we've seen all the 𝗪𝗶𝗿𝗲s, we've seen edition 3, we've all probably made a shift out of it at some point. And his colors are just absolutely lovely. So with Gradient, what he's done is he's done some really long gradients. I guess it's right in the name, gradient. You can't miss that. But he's done some really long gradients. Just to give you an idea of how long they are. For instance, look at these two balls. You would think that these are two different colors. But these are both the same color, same dye lot. The only difference is the way that they're wound on the ball. So this one here, if I pull a little to the side, you can see that green popping out. Or if I open it up in the middle, can you see the green there in the middle? It is the same green that's on the outside here, and there you can see the purple popping out. So the gradients are super long, but that's what makes them really so special. You can see back here, this is an orange gradient that has been used in a tunic, and you can see how long and beautiful it is. Here, this is the 𝗵𝗶𝗿𝗄, and it is also in a gradient. This is one ball. This here is two balls of two different colors of gradient. One was a gray one and one was a green and bluish tones that were alternated. So, and this pattern by here is by 𝗪𝗶𝗿𝗄, I believe. It's the wood warbler. So there you go. Those are a couple of pieces that you can knit with the gradient. But today's special for the newsletter is called the Radiant Gradient. And I don't have an actual Radiant Gradient piece here, but if you look right up here, here's a photo of the Radiant Gradient. It is a 2-ball shawl. So you're going to need 2 balls of the gradient to make this shawl. You're going to use a 32-inch US 8 needle, and just so you know, the yarn actually is a 100% merino. And I should tell you a little bit more about the yarn too, because it really is a special yarn. Not only is it 100% merino, but it is also pre-felted. Look at this right here. Look at it super close. So this is actually a single ply yarn that runs through a patented machine that Gerhard 𝗫𝗃𝗁 actually developed himself and won awards for, that pre-felts the yarn for you. And why do you want it pre-felted? Well, several reasons. First of all, single plies, we know they can have a tendency to pill. So if it's pre-felted, the tendency to pill is much, much less. I mean, will it pill? Sure, it'll probably pill a little bit, but not as if it were just a single ply. Second of all, it has excellent stitch definition. As you can see in the stitches here, I mean, you've got stockinette and reverse stockinette, and you can see a very definitive difference. Here you've got your garter stitch, and you can see it. And over here, I think you can probably see the stitch pattern. I guess it's sort of hard because you got the gradient in there, but there's a beautiful stitch pattern that is in the shoulder and down below, and you can actually see what that stitch pattern is very nicely because it is pre-felted, and it gives it that really, really nice stitch definition. Anyways, gradient comes in a whole slew of colors for you to choose from. And so this week's special, like I said, it's the Radiant Gradient pattern, which is a pattern by Susan Ashcroft. And we're going to gift you that pattern for free if you buy 2 balls of the gradient. 2 balls. And on top of that, gradient is on sale for 15% off. And on top of that, yep, you got it right, we're gonna give you a needle. In this case, we're actually going to get you a skacel turbo needle. So the turbo needles were the original needles that skacel brought in from Germany, and they are made by addi. They don't have quite as sharp of a tip on them as, per se, the rockets or the lace needles or the rocket squared needles. So they have a little bit of a a more rounded tip versus the sharper tip. So they're the original ones. They're called the turbos. And I must say, people always say, well, why are they called turbos? It's, you know, people always assume because you can knit fast with them, but that's actually not why. Gail from Vail, I don't know Gail's last name, but Gail from Vail back in, I don't know, it was like probably the late 80s, came up with the term turbo because she was bringing these needles into her shop when skacel first started bringing them into the United States, and they flew out the door at turbo speed. And she used the term turbo because she was dealing with my father, and my father was a car dealer before that, and she knew he liked turbocharged things. So she used the word, they're turbo needles, they fly in and out. Anyways, the name turbo stuck. It's now been on the label for I don't know how many years, and the turbo needle is still a very, very good selling needle. Anyways, when you purchase 2 balls of this yarn, you're going to get the Radiant Gradient pattern for free, and you're going to get a 32-inch US 8 turbo needle. So it's actually done on a fairly large size needle, despite the fact that you have 286 yards on this 100-gram ball. So you could knit this as you know, with a needle as small as a 3 or a 4, and you can go up to an 8 or a 9. And in this case, this pattern is knit on an 8. So you're getting your 32-inch 8 turbo needle, you're getting your pattern for free, and you're getting 15% off your yarn. So there you go. Lots of specials going on with that gradient there. Now, moving right along, we also have in our newsletter our Marie Greene books. So we recently received more books in. We were sold out for a while, and we love Marie Greene's books, probably because you get a lot of bang for your buck. In this book right here, so this is the one, the Seamless Knit Sweaters, she has 20 patterns in here. And these are all top-down sweaters. There's cardigans, short-sleeve sweaters, long-sleeve sweaters, all different kinds of sweaters for all different kinds of seasons. And because they're top-down, they're easy to fit. Not only that, she sizes them in so many different sizes. I'm not exactly sure how many sizes on each one, and I'm just looking to see if I can find that out. I probably should have looked earlier. But for instance, on this one, she has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, wow, 8, 9, 10. She has 11 sizes or something on one of the sweaters in here. So you get a lot of different sizes and a lot of different patterns. 20 patterns in this book, and I think the book is only like $22. So, you know, you're talking a really good price per pattern. Highly recommend this book. This is the Seamless Knit Sweaters. And, oh, I should add, it says in 2 weeks. And she does mean in 2 weeks. If you work on these sweaters every single day for a little bit of time, you will get them done in 2 weeks. Now, she also has a book called Knit Shawls and Wraps, and this is one of my favorites. Once more, she has a whole slew of patterns in there using all different kinds of yarns to make wraps and shawls with. And every single one of them is just absolutely beautiful. Here I am looking at the book, and I'm not letting you look at it. But it is a fantastic book. Also, a lot of bang for your buck. And then, last but not least, we have her book, Knit a Little. And Knit a Little is basically a book that has a lot of her patterns that she has created for adults that she's done on a smaller scale for children. And there's children's sweaters, there's children's hats, so all different kinds of things for the littles in your family. So we have all 3 of those books back in stock, and they are all excellent books, and I'd highly recommend adding them to your library. All right, moving right along. We have a special on these special on a special. These special jewel closures. So if you see this closure here, I'm holding it 2 ways. It's actually a snap closure. I'm gonna open it for you so you can see. There you can, there you can see how it is a snap closure. So this is really great for shawls and things like that. But what makes these so super, super special is the back of them. So I'm gonna snap this closed so I can show you the back. And if you see the back of this piece, you can see there's screws. See those screws? Yep. These are little screws, and they come with little leather washers. So what does that mean? That means that you can switch this from one garment to another without ever damaging your garments or having to sew it on and cut it off. So basically, you just unscrew the 4 screws, And then you can put the piece, here you can see that little piece goes through your knitting or whatever, you can see that. And then you put on your leather washer to stabilize it, and then you put in the screw again. And you do that with all 4 of them, and then you have your closure. And then the next time you want to wear it on a different piece, you simply unscrew them and put them back on. Anyways, at one point we over-ordered these, so we have too many in stock. So we're actually going to be clearing them out right now at 50% off. 50% off. I mean, this is a really well-made piece out of leather, made by 𝗁. And if you haven't heard of 𝗁 things before, 𝗁 makes a whole line of just beautiful, beautiful things, accessories that go with your knitted pieces and so on. So I'm gonna put that back in there. That is until we run out, so limited time. When they're gone, they are gone. And then I keep promising you that I'm gonna talk to you about our guest speaker who's going to be at Maker's Night, which is going to be the first Tuesday in February. I can't believe we're talking about February. Anyways, his name is Darren Hollingsworth, and he paints gratitude rocks. So what's a gratitude rock? Well, why don't you join us and find out. They're really, really great rocks. I remember the first time I found one, I was thrilled to death. I don't think he actually painted it. I think that Kyle learned from him and made a few of them, and I still have it. Anyways, they're really a lot of fun, and so we're going to be discussing gratitude that night. What are we grateful for? How do we make our gratitude rocks? And so on. That is the first Tuesday of February. All right, and I think I'm looking around to make sure that I didn't miss anything. I think that's about it for today. It is Friday. That means a lot of us have a Saturday and Sunday ahead of us. If you have Saturday and Sunday off, find some time to be creative no matter what. Choose to be happy, be safe, and we'll see you again next week on Tuesday with more specials from Maker's Mercantile. Ciao.